All right, so I'm here with Max. Max, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good. All right, Max. So for those that might not know you, why don't you introduce yourself, talk about like your year, where you're from, your major, all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm from New Hampshire. I'm a grad transfer from UMBC. Um, I struggled with some injuries throughout my junior year and my senior year, so I got the redshirt year last year. So this will be my final year eligibility.
All right. So talk to me about, so you mentioned it before, you're at UMBC. Talk to me about where were you guys at when COVID hit and then things had to be canceled? Like what part of the season were you guys at when you guys had to shut everything down?
My guys played in the semifinals of the conference tourney against Vermont. And after they lost, so we lost in the semifinals. I wasn't able to play because I had to sit out
Hmm.
the remainder of the year due to my injuries. But we ended up losing in the semifinals, and after we lost that game, the whole year got shut down. So even if we won in the semifinals, we wouldn't have had the chance to play in the championship. So it just so happened that right after we played our final game of the
Hmm.
season, everything got shut down right after that.
Well, that's lucky then. All right, Max. So talk to me about why you chose FSC for your grad transfer year. Like, what was it about the the program that drew you in? Was it the winning? Was it just the fit? Like, what was the big factor there?
I think it was mainly the fit for sure. I just really liked how I felt and the connection I had with Coach Donnelly and Coach Mack. I thought that the way that their coaching style works fit well with my game, and I thought I was going to be able to display a lot of my talents here that I wasn't able to display at my old school.
Hmm.
So I just thought that overall it was a great fit, and my buddy Brett Hansen had a great overall career
Yeah.
down here
Oh
because
yeah.
we both knew each other from New Hampshire. We used to play each other back in high school and stuff like that. So
That's awesome.
seeing how well he succeeded here and seeing how well that his game translated to this school, I just thought that my game would pretty fit pretty well too.
So that's actually my next question. So, talk to me about what you think you bring to the team. You mentioned that you sat out last year, you redshirted. So, talk to me about what do you think you will bring to the Mocs this season that will help them going forward?
I think I'm a competitive guy with a lot of experience, and I know what it takes to win. I played on some really good teams, and I think that I'm gonna bring some versatility at the big man spot. I think I'm gonna be able to stretch the court out pretty well
Hmm.
and handle the ball pretty well for how big I am. And I just think I'm just gonna bring a competitive edge and a positive attitude, and I think that it'll flow well and work well with the guys we already got here.
I think it will too. I think so. All right. So, you've been there for a little bit, and obviously you haven't gotten the chance to do like full contact stuff. You haven't been able to go full speed yet. But what have been your first impressions so far, like of your teammates, of the program, of the school? Like, what have been your first impressions of everything so far?
I just think I had a immediate like wow factor when I first came here of how hard everybody works here. Like it's something I really haven't seen in my college career. There's usually guys on the team, like a certain amount of guys that like you could tell work pretty hard, and then there's another group of guys who doesn't really put the work in as much. But when I came here, I was surprised about how dedicated and locked in everybody seemed to be, and everybody really focused on what they're trying to get done, and that was definitely impressed me a lot. And I just think that um, we have a whole lot of size, and I was surprised by how athletic. That really took me away too. Is how athletic this team is. How many guys can get off the floor and get up and get above the rim. So this might be the most athletic team I've ever played on because just by the sheer amount of guys that we got that can play above the rim, which kind of shocked me coming down to D2. I might have thought it would have been a little bit less athleticism or a little bit less size, but we have a bunch of big guys that can really get off the floor and play.
All right, Max, you're breaking up a little bit, so bear with me here, okay? Um, you mentioned it before, UMBC. So talk to me about like the last couple of months. Obviously, like you said you guys were in the conference tourney at your conference, and then you decided to transfer down here. So talk to me about like the whirlwind experience it's been. Like, when did you decide that transferring was in your best interest, and then what was it you were looking for specifically? You mentioned like coming down here, the fit and everything, but like what was it going to take for you to like commit to the place that you felt you would be comfortable at?
Um, yeah, no, like the whole coronavirus thing really came out of nowhere, and like it's still kind of a shock to me, and like still a lot of questions with it. Like a lot of people don't really know like what it is or like how to like slow it down or anything like that. So that's been a crazy thing. But I kind of knew, I had a feeling that once I decided to redshirt, like once I
Mhm.
decided that I was gonna redshirt from at UMBC last year, that's when I knew like that I was probably gonna be looking for another school because I just felt like throughout my whole career at UMBC that they just didn't do the best job utilizing me and utilizing my talent. Like I just thought that
Okay. Yeah.
I wanted to find somewhere that a coach would put me in positions that I am like capable of scoring really high levels. And I just knew that right after talking to Mike Donnelly, or Coach Donnelly, that this was going to be a perfect spot for me to be able to do that. So it really wasn't too much of a hard decision.
Hmm.
Once I got to talking to the coaching staff, it just felt like there were some real genuine guys, and that's really the most important thing to me. Because since I only got 1 year left, like
Right.
I don't really have any like time to waste or
Yeah. Yeah.
anything to like any time to play with. So I
Mhm.
just felt like I needed to go somewhere where the coaching staff was some genuine guys that I could relate to on a personal level,
Mhm.
and I just felt like this was the best spot for me to be able to do that.
That's perfect. I like that. All right, Max. So talk to me about, so I think, obviously there's going to be some transition period, right, for everybody that's new new to a team, new to a school and all that. So, but you were at a school that did have success winning, right? You guys famously went to the tournament and beat Virginia, right, as a 16 seed. So, do you think that experience at the D1 level, even though like you weren't, like say you weren't like utilized the way you wanted to be, like do you think like just having that experience under your belt will help you in D2 in any way?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think especially just by like the level of talent that I was playing with, and like I learned a lot from a lot of guys. Like I played with a lot of great players, and like Jairus Lyles and KJ Mara and Arkel Lamar, a lot of high level players and good defenders. So I just think that having that experience of playing with those great guys is going to really help me a lot coming and playing here. I just think I'm gonna take a lot out of what I learned from them and try to utilize it here because
Mhm.
I really could see that being a factor to help me out playing down here for sure.
Awesome. All right, so we're in the latter portion of the year now. We've been in with the pandemic going on for a couple months. Talk to me for you personally, what life has been like during the pandemic, and then when you compare it to before COVID hit, what's been like the main difference? Obviously, the mask and social distancing, but what's been like a big difference you've noticed from then and now?
Um, Honestly, it's just weird. It's just been a lot of getting used to. Like just staying in most of the time, not like going out to gatherings and like not going out and seeing your friends a lot. Like it's just been a lot of time by myself, time with the family, which necessarily hasn't really been a bad thing when it comes to
Right.
that. But I've just been trying to make the most out of it and use the extra time that I have to do positive things like get in the gym, work out, or
Hmm.
reach out to friends that I might haven't talked to in a while, or spend more time talking to family. And I'm just making the most out of it because if you let the change and let all of what's going on get to you mentally, then that could really have a negative effect on your lifestyle. So
For
I've
sure.
just been trying to do my best to make the most out of it and turn the negative into a positive to a sense. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's a perfect attitude. So you obviously, I think just from hearing you talk that you do have a lot of motivation coming into this season internally. For our guys that are coming back from last year's team, I think you know by now the story. We were 29-2, 17 straight, all that stuff. So do you think there's a hunger level, like as a guy coming into the program, do you think like you can be hungry along with the guys coming back to like try to experience like the success the team had last year and try to like make more success happen?
yeah, no, I definitely like. I think like I can't really relate to what the guys went through last year. I know that must have hurt like extremely bad, and I
Hmm.
know that they're probably all coming back extremely hungry, trying to prove themselves again that they were a national championship contender. So, but in my shoes, I got a different hunger level. Like I feel like we're all hungry in different ways. Like everybody has their own story. Everybody has like their own personal battles that they're fighting. And I went through a lot these past couple of years with injuries and different struggles. And I just think that after all the stuff that I went through these past couple of years, I got a lot to prove to myself too. Like so, I'm definitely hungry, and I can definitely think I definitely think I'm gonna be able to match that hunger level and go out there and do whatever I can to help these guys win.
I like it. All right, so you did touch on this before that you think that the athleticism of this team is probably the best it's been in your playing career, right? So is that what excites you the most, or is there something else that you think like really excites you about the potential this team has? Is it like the talent overall? Is it like you think the coaching staff is extremely strong and will help out? Like, is there something that really excites you about like being a part of this team this year?
I think all of those things that you kind of just said excite me like equally. Like I'm extremely excited to play for a coach like Donnelly who just lets you go out there and feel free on the court and just do what you got to do on offense as long as you play in defense. And I'm extremely talented to play with these guys, even though we haven't even had the chance to compete. Um, I'm really excited to play with the talent that we have here and the athleticism that we have here. I think that with the group of guys we got, like if we get out and we start running and we get out in transition, we're going to be a really difficult team to match up with. So I'm extremely excited for the type of lineups that we're going to be able to put out there and the amount of depth we're going to have going into the season.
I love it. So it's obviously a limited sample size. I mean, you haven't been able to get on the court and do like group workouts and stuff of that nature. But talk to me about your initial impressions of like the teammates you have. Like, obviously, you have the guys coming in, the juniors this year that have been the longest outside of Jake Schnarr. And then you have your other fellow newcomers. So talk to me about like how well you think you're getting along with them so far. Like, do you think like they're going to be like reliable teammates to you in terms of like giving you a shoulder to lean on, like for experience, like what kind of talking to me about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, no, I think like the chemistry on this team is like no other team I've been on. I think all the guys they just get along really well and like there's no like awkwardness or like cliques or people like
Right.
certain people hanging out and other people hanging out. Like I think that we
Yeah.
all get along pretty well, and I've really enjoyed getting to know the guys and hang out with the guys. So I'm really excited. I think that I've already built a pretty good relationship with a lot of guys on the team,
Hmm.
um, and I'm just really looking forward to building those relationships further and seeing what we can do together on the court.
I like it. All right. So our conference, Sunshine State Conference, they announced last month that they're postponing all winter stuff until the new year. I'm not sure if you heard about that or not.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. Okay. So, which is like what we kind of expected that January would be like the earliest start. So, talk to me about preparation wise, what you've been doing since you got to school. I mean, obviously you have like stuff suspended right now, but talk to me about what you've been doing like individually by yourself, like without the coaches, and then talk to me about what you want to be doing going forward to make sure like you're in the best shape you can be for practice whenever you guys go live.
Yeah, I've been since these past couple weeks. The access to the main gym and the main training facilities have been shut down. So I've just been trying to get into the wellness center and get some lifts in every a few times a week and get on the court and just get shots up and work out on different parts of my game. But my groin a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, my groin started hurting me a little bit,
Mhm.
and I think it was just a slight strain. So I've been having to be a little bit cautious with that on different
Right.
types of like cutting side to side and stuff. So
Yeah.
I've been before that though. I was getting some runs in on the soccer field and
Mhm.
running a couple miles and stuff. But yeah, no, I'm just trying to work on all assets of my game, trying to improve my handle, my strength, my jump shot. So I just can be in the best position I can be when we really do get to go live.
Awesome. So you mentioned your handle. Is that like the area you're most focused on improving? Is that thing like is that what you really want to like get a stronger grip on before the season starts?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say my handle, my cardio, and shooting off the dribble are three things that I want to improve on the most.
Alrighty. I like it. All right, Max, last one here. So we don't necessarily know when the pandemic will end, quote unquote, right? And then we don't know when normalcy will come or if like it'll be the same ever again. So talk to me about how you think life will look in the future, and then what are your feelings about like the chances of us having normalcy again? Like, are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? Like, talk to me about like, your mindset with that.
I'm definitely optimistic, and I feel like a lot of the answers to those questions you asked me kind of lie on the election coming up because the both candidates have opposite views on what we should do
Right.
moving forward with the coronavirus. So I feel like the fate of like us returning to normalcy and stuff like that, I feel like that all kind of relies on how this election plays out. But
Mhm.
I'm definitely optimistic that if people like do the right thing and smarten up and do what they're supposed to do with the social distancing and stuff, that the numbers will eventually start to go down and we'll return to normalcy soon. But recently with like all the news of like stores opening back up and
Yeah.
just everything trying to get opened back up before the numbers go down, then it kind of makes it hard for me to be optimistic because I just feel like you can't expect something to change if you're not doing the proper things to make it change. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm optimistic, but I just think that people need to smarten up and stop believing that everything that they read or everything that they watch about, oh, it's a myth or oh, it's fake or oh, it's a hoax for the election. I just think that regardless of what the situation is, I think that people just need to follow protocols and do what they're supposed to do, or it's going to be hard to believe that stuff's going to go back to normal soon.
And we have to vote. Very important election. We have to go out and vote.
Facts.